Hello, and welcome to Harkins' Safety Orientation. My name is Ben Nichols, and I am honored to serve as the president of our 100% employee-owned company. Harkins' vision is to be the premier long-term partner for building teams, communities, and relationships. If you are watching this video, we consider you and your organization a key partner to our organization. We truly appreciate your role on our job site to help us to collectively continue to build exceptional projects. Since our founding in 1965, safety remains a guiding principle of Harkins, and it is our #1 goal to ensure that you are given everything you need to perform your duties in a safe and effective manner. Construction routinely ranks as one of the most dangerous jobs across all industries, and it is critical that you listen closely to this video and always remain vigilant on the job site. I ask that each and every person that steps foot on our job sites keep safety at the forefront and know that you have my support and the commitment of all Harkins personnel that safety compliance will never be compromised. Thank you again for your partnership and the critical role that you play on this project, and I hope to meet each and every one of you on a Harkins job site soon.
While working on a Harkins project, all on-site field staff must follow our safety policies along with federal, state, and local regulations. During this orientation, you will learn about some of our job site-specific procedures and rules. If you witness any unsafe conditions, accidents, injury, near-miss incidents, and/or worker misconduct, please report this immediately to a Harkins supervisor on site. It's important to know who your company's designated competent person is on site. This person is required to always be on site, and they are capable of identifying existing and future hazards around the job site or working conditions which are potentially hazardous, unsanitary, or dangerous to you. They are authorized to take prompt corrective action to eliminate these hazards. Finally, prior to starting any new work on site, you should review the activity hazard analysis with your company's supervisor that will identify any potential risk and what controls will be used to eliminate or reduce those hazards. The following personal protective equipment is required at all times while on the job site. Eye protection. Hard hat with suspension. High visibility fluorescent yellow-green or orange apparel. Gloves are mandatory on the job site for any worker handling materials, chemicals, or where there is a risk to the hands as identified by your activity hazard analysis. Work boots or shoes with ankle support that are industrial grade with hard soles. All personnel are required to wear shirts that have a minimum of 4-inch sleeves and full-length pants. In addition, hearing protection should be used in high-noise areas and at times when an elevated voice is required. Safe lifting techniques can help to prevent back injuries and can make carrying or moving heavy objects easier. If the object seems too heavy, bulky, awkward, or weighs more than 50 pounds, don't attempt to lift it yourself. Get assistance from another team member to utilize a 2-person lift. If necessary, use lifting equipment to move the heavy object if another team member isn't available. Housekeeping is a basic but important part of safety on the job site. Maintaining a job site's cleanliness is everyone's responsibility, and a clean job site is the foundation for accident and fire prevention. Poor housekeeping can cause accidents that can lead to injury or death. Walking and working surfaces, stairs, or similar areas should be kept clear of hoses, cords, cables, trash, and debris to avoid creating a hazard to others. This will also prevent equipment damage from sharp edges or pinch points, while also preventing tripping hazards. To maintain a safe job site, housekeeping should be completed regularly throughout the shift. Remember to clean as you go, and don't let trash pile up. All trash and waste should be placed in their designated dumpsters on site. It is important that extension cords be inspected prior to use daily and by a designated competent person on a monthly basis at a minimum. Cords that are damaged, missing ground pins, have broken strain relief, or exposed wires should be taken out of service immediately. A cord must be rated for heavy-duty work and must be a number 12 gauge or higher. The flexible cord should be installed to avoid damage to the cord. Finally, GFCI protection should always be used, whether through a GFCI circuit breaker, receptacle, or pigtail. Hand and power tools are a common part of daily construction operations. Before using a tool, make sure you have been properly trained to use the tool safely and that the tool has been inspected prior to each use. Tools that are broken, bent, split, or have loose handles should be removed from service. Using the right tool for the job, for its intended purpose, will help avoid injury and prevent potential damage to the job site. Tools with guards should be installed and functioning per the manufacturer's standards. Otherwise, the tool should be removed from service. Proper maintenance of your tools, using the right tool, using the correct personal protective equipment, and knowing where your hands are will help ensure a safe work environment for everyone. All motorized equipment should have a warning horn for forward movement, as well as an audible backup alarm. Only certified personnel are permitted to operate forklifts, scissor lifts, and aerial lifts, while only qualified and authorized personnel are permitted to operate loaders, skid steers, backhoes, and similar heavy equipment. Seat belts should always be worn during operation. Trade partners shall provide a Harkins supervisor with documentation of operator competency when requested. All mobile equipment should be inspected upon delivery and prior to each use. Copies of these inspection lists shall be provided to Harkins project superintendent each workday. Mobile equipment that fails the pre-shift inspection must be locked and tagged out to prevent operation. In addition, the manufacturer's operation and safety manuals, as well as the equipment's load charts, must be present on the equipment. When operating equipment, always maintain a distance of at least 10 feet from high voltage lines and inform a Harkins supervisor when operating any equipment within 20 feet of overhead high voltage lines. Falls are the leading cause of injury and death in the construction industry, which is why it is important that each worker take the right steps to avoid a fall. All ladders at Harkins job sites must be heavy-duty, with a load capacity required for the task being performed. Before using a ladder, you must have proper training, and prior to each use, inspect the ladder to ensure there are no defects. Ladders with broken or damaged components or missing or illegible manufacturer's instructional labels must be labeled "Do Not Use" and removed from service immediately. When setting up a stepladder, make sure all feet have a secure, level footing. Remember, stepladders are designed to be worked from and not to gain access to elevated work areas. They should never be used in the closed position unless specifically designed as a leaning ladder. While using the ladder, always face the ladder when moving up or down while having 3 points of contact with the ladder. Never stand on the top step or very top of the ladder, and always position the ladder near your work to avoid overreaching. When setting up an extension ladder, set the ladder at the correct 4-to-1 angle between the ground and the structure. Tie off the top of the ladder to prevent it from slipping sideways, and secure the bottom of the ladder with a cleat to the ground, or make sure a team member is at the bottom of the ladder to prevent the ladder from slipping. Remember to always extend the ladder 3 feet above the landing. In situations where a ladder is required at the perimeter of slab edges or near openings, fall protection must be worn. Fires can occur on job sites because workers are often working with flammable and combustible materials during hot work and when using temporary heating devices. In case of a fire, immediately notify the fire department by calling 911, Harkins Supervision, and other workers. Be aware of potential fuel and ignition sources on the job site and follow established safety practices to protect yourself and others while working. All flammable or combustible materials should be properly stored and separated from each other. Fuels for gas-operated equipment must be in DOT-approved metal safety cans, while plastic fuel containers are prohibited. Fuels are prohibited from being stored inside the building. All gas-powered equipment, such as generators and compressors, must have a fire extinguisher located nearby and placed outside the building. Avoid moving or disturbing temporary heaters while they are in use, and make sure they remain on a stable, level surface in a well-ventilated space. Keep them away from walls and other flammable materials, and avoid storing material within 10 feet of the open flame. Before you begin high-temperature work, such as welding, cutting, brazing, or grinding, you must notify your Harkins supervisor and receive a hot work permit. Inform a Harkins supervisor of the type of work you are performing and the location that this is taking place. Ensure that all fire hazards are protected, that you have the proper fire extinguisher available, and provide a fire watch in the work area for at least 2 hours after completion of the hot work to ensure there's no further fire hazard. In addition, smoking is prohibited inside the building. All scaffolding shall be inspected and tagged as either red or green prior to being used, constructed, dismantled, or altered by your company's designated competent person. Scaffolds should have a safe ladder or stair access on all working levels, and you should never climb on scaffolding cross braces. Be sure to check for trip and slip hazards, such as debris, ice, and snow. In addition, be aware of your surroundings and look for potential hazards from other workers working overhead, falling debris, and hoisted loads carried overhead. Mobile scaffolds with wheels must have positive wheel and swivel locks to prevent movement of the scaffold when it is in use. No one is permitted to ride on mobile scaffolds or to be on the scaffold while it is being moved. Personal fall arrest equipment is always required when work is performed from an elevated work platform, such as a lift. All work performed from an elevated work platform must be accomplished with feet firmly on the deck. Elevated work platforms used on elevated decks must be approved for floor or roof load considerations by the structural engineer of record on the project. It is important to always maintain a distance of at least 10 feet from high-voltage lines and inform your Harkins supervisor when operating any equipment within 20 feet of overhead high-voltage lines. Harkins requires 100% fall protection for all work 6 feet and above. In addition, we require fall protection at lower levels where guardrail protection is not in place, including adjacent to excavations. Training regarding specific fall protection plans is mandatory, including the required rescue plan that provides methods of prompt rescue of workers in the event of a fall. Remember to prioritize your fall protection method or use the decision-making hierarchy. First, eliminate the fall hazard with an alternative construction method or work procedure. Second, properly guard the fall hazard with guardrails and/or hole covers or barricade the entire area to prevent employee access. Third, provide workers with a personal fall arrest system. A guardrail system consisting of a top rail and mid-rail is required at all unprotected sides, edges, and floor openings where a recognized fall hazard to a lower level exists. The top rail of the guardrail system is capable of supporting 200 pounds in any direction and has a tow board installed for protection when there is work below. Guardrails are not for use as a fall arrest anchorage method. Tow boards should be 4 inches or higher in height and be able to withstand at least 50 pounds of force. They must be no higher than 1/4 inch above the floor. When wire cables are used as top rail or perimeter slab edge systems, cables must be flagged every 6 feet for visibility. All holes or gaps greater than or equal to 2 inches shall be covered and marked hole or cover in English and hoyo or cubierta in Spanish. Hole covers shall be secured to prevent displacement and capable of supporting, without failure, at least twice the weight of employees, equipment, and materials that may be imposed on the cover at any one time. When working from stilts, always be aware of your proximity to guardrails, wall openings, and windows.
I'm Russell Tipton, Project Controls Executive at Harkins. Thank you for watching our safety orientation video. Safety is everyone's responsibility, whether at work or at home. Your actions affect your own safety as well as the safety of others. Proper and adequate planning, education, training, action, and discipline result in safe working conditions. Thinking, planning, and acting safely prevents accidents and company losses and will result in safe working conditions for everyone on the job site. It is expected that you, along with every Harkins employee, will make every effort to create a safe and productive job site experience. We thank you for your cooperation to safeguard your health and those of your team members by following the important requirements of our program, and very significantly, by using common sense to work safely at all times. We trust that we will have your total commitment and cooperation in complying with our policy. Remember, safety starts